All right, welcome everybody. So today I want to show you how to add on a handle to your teapot body. So once you have your spout and the body kind of all joined together, it could still need some more smoothing, but once you've got it figured out, then you want to figure out what kind of handle you want. Now I've made a couple different ones so I can show you some different styles. So what I think I'm ultimately going to go with is this one right here. So I basically rolled out a coil and I set it in the shape that I wanted, and I held my teapot above it just like I am now. And I was looking, you know, where does it touch here? Where does it touch here? I adjusted it, and then I let it sit until it was leather hard. So that's one type of handle. That's the one that I'm ultimately gonna go with. So I'm gonna set that to the side and show you the other two real quick. So this one is kind of like a beefy version of a handle that you might use for a cup or a mug, something like that. So depending on how you attach that one on, that could look really nice as well. But again, you know, you're gonna shape it and make sure that it matches. Now, one thing that you wanna think about, like this is another style that would just be like this one, but if you look at this one's kind of small. It doesn't really fit the style of this teapot. Like it looks too small, right? And I would have a really small area for my lid. So that's another thing to think about as well. Or like, but I could maybe use this one if I wanted to add it on, adjust it and add it on like this. That might look really cool as well, right? So you gotta figure out what you want, and then you're gonna wait for it to be leather hard. So I still wanna be able to move it just a little bit, but I want it to be able to hold its shape. Now, the next thing that you need to think about is the position in relation to the spout, okay? So your handle should be in line with the spout, okay? So what I mean is, like, if I'm gonna add this handle on right here, it needs to be lined up with the spout like I was showing you earlier. So it needs to be centered in the middle of the spout, and it needs to follow along the spout. Okay, what I see students sometimes do is they'll try to do their handles this way, which is not great for pouring. Like no matter how you hold it, if your handle is going this way, it's difficult to pour out of this spout. So it really needs to go in line with the spout. Same thing even for this style of handle, it needs to go across from the spout. If you put it over here, it usually doesn't work as well. The one exception to that is some Asian style teapots will have like basically it looks almost like another spout off to the side. And that one it's intended to be held like this and rotated this way. That one usually works okay, but generally not for large teapots. That one only works for small teapots. So once you've decided where it is that you're gonna add your handle on, and like for me, I'm gonna add it on right here. So you're gonna go ahead and trace around your teapot edges, like where your handle meets. And I left them really, really big. And then you're gonna score the ever living bejesus out of these suckers, okay? So you wanna score bigger than you marked, and make sure you score them a lot. Now, I've said a billion times, it depends on what kind of clay you have and you know, what the place that you are doing clay at requires you to do. But for our clay, we really need to score really well. We're gonna just kiss it like a dewdrop fairy, add a little tiny bit of water on there just so it shines. Now, this part right here on mine, it's kind of like rounded and there's like a dimple in it. So I actually need to cut that off. And then I want to kind of widen this a little bit because I want to, so I'm kind of like pushing against it to kind of widen that base just a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So I'm not cutting off a 10, but I just wanna make sure that there's no hole, right? And then I gotta do the same thing for scoring on the ends here. Now, these ones, like, it's okay if the handle's a little bit stiffer than what mine is. It might actually be preferable to be a little bit stiffer, than what mine is, but you don't want it to be bone dry or like too leather hard, because you want to make sure that this sticks real good. Okay, and I already added, let's see, I already added water, but since I was chatting, I'm gonna add a little bit more. Okay, so once you have this, still make sure that you're nice in line with your spout. You're gonna push this on here. Remember, you wanna see clay boogies come out of here. And if your clay boogies squeeze out really good, you can use that water and only that water for smoothing that area. And if you've done a nice job of it and your coil was a good size, you might be done right now. In which case you just have to be really careful not to, you know, bump your handle anymore. Now, what happens more frequently is you'll do that and there's like a little dent like right next to the handle. So if I move this to the side just a little bit, usually there's like a little bit of a dent right there. If that happens to you, before you smooth it out, you're just gonna add a little baby coil around it, and then you're gonna blend it down and blend it up right there. And it's the same thing for this one. Like, you would just figure out where you're gonna add it on, slip and score, and add it on, okay? So once you have this on here, you're getting really close to the end of your teapot. And if yours doesn't fit in your cubby, then, you know, we'll put it on the counter. But you gotta still make sure that it's wrapped up really good, and you gotta be really gentle with these handles, okay? So have fun, make something cool. Thanks, everybody.